Good afternoon, this is Lenny, and I'm presenting my project for IFB102. So for my project, I decided to create a web server for the Raspberry Pi. And as you can see, I am connected to my Raspberry Pi via SSH. So my Raspberry Pi is hosting it on my local host, which is on this IP address. So if we decide to go over to this IP on Google Chrome, it takes you to my web server. I decided to create a Raspberry Pi task manager system. So this is obviously trying to emulate the Windows 10 task manager. We've got a few different aspects on the project. So we've got obviously the temperature of the Pi, we have the system time, and then a few other things here. We've got a set of Google charts. So yeah, I didn't create these charts. These were charts loaded from Google. And we've got memory usage on the Pi, CPU usage, and network usage. And further, we've got a list of running active processes on the Pi as well. And basically, the way this project works is it's using 4 different languages. It's using HTML, CSS, a bit of JavaScript, and PHP as well. And if I navigate over to the project directory, you can see the web server is hosted via this index.php file, which is providing the structure for the website. So that's written in HTML and CSS. And the way that the index.php file is communicating with the other PHP files is through a JavaScript function, which is called Ajax. You can see that call there is referencing the PHP file memory usage. So the way that works is if we head on over to this file here, as you can see, it returns a response of a JavaScript variable. So this is a list of running active memory processes, which you can see is displayed in this chart. The way we got it into JavaScript format is we can see if we go over to the PHP file, it's running shell executes, which is running a command on the Pi and then returning the variable in the form of arguments, which is then converted into a JSON format with this piece of code here. And it's a similar process for the CPU usage. It's a similar command and then converted into JSON format. And then as you can see, the JavaScript is actually running this command every second. As you can see here. So every second it's running all these processes, which creates a live feed. So for example, if we use this command, which is running TCP track, TCP track is just a network monitor, which is a little bit CPU intensive. So we can see it's monitoring the network at the moment, and we can see that's using 94% of the active CPU, which is 37% of the entire process there, entire capacity of the Pi. So yeah, if we cancel that, you can see it's going to return back to normal. So yeah, that's how the charts work. The network chart is very similar. It's using the vnstat package, which was downloaded from the internet. It's also a network monitor, but it provides a snapshot instead of a continuous process, which is desirable for PHP because PHP is a server-side language. Another aspect of the Task Manager website is this list of running processes. Just simply lists them and lists the user, command, and a few other bits of information. You can search via a few different methods. So you can search for the user. If I search for root, it's going to return all the active processes by root. Just reset it by doing an empty query. And if I want to search for a specific command, for example, search for sudo. And so sudo, the only commands that are running on the Pi using sudo is actually the query itself. So as you can see, this www dash data is the user of the shell executes command here. So that had to be given extra permission so it could run on the Pi there as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much my project there. It's got the CPU temperature and the time, and then charts and the processes. If you have any other questions, please feel free to send them my way. But yeah, that's my project.